Hello and welcome to the February update from Pennyhill Junction. So first of all, I just want to apologise for the delay in getting my February update published. It's been a very busy and productive month on the layout, and I wanted to ensure I got as much of it completed as possible before publishing this month's update. So to kick off, I'm going to do an update on the TMD, which also now has a name. If you remember from last month, the TMD was very much in planning stages. I had some rough track, some old track I had laid down, as well as some Pico track plans. So I pretty much went with what I planned. There was a couple of adjustments made, but all in all, I went with the original plan, and which you'll soon see. Looks pretty good, and I'm very pleased with the outcome. So I'll start this update similar to what I did last month when I looked at the track plans for the TMD. I started here at the entrance of the TMD, just coming out of Pennyhill Junction station. So this line here is your entrance into the TMD. And if you take a right at the first turnout, you go into a double fuel point. If you go straight ahead, you'll come through a loco wash and what will eventually be a single road maintenance shed. And coming back again on the second turnout, if you take a left and then take a right, takes you into just a storage siding. And by taking a left, it takes you into the head shunt and then brings you back into what will be a two road diesel maintenance shed. So as you can see, all the track is down. It's all wired up and operational. And now all my diesel locos now have a new home. And as I mentioned in my previous update, the idea is this is going to become primarily a DRS depot. You see I've made a good start to the DRS fleet with my 268s and a 37. And I mentioned a moment ago that I now have a name for the depot, and the depot will be called Collingwood Bridge Depot. So it's based on Gresty Bridge Depot, which is based all the way up in the northwest at Crewe. So even though this layout is very much a representation of the southwest of England, after my trip to Crewe last year and my drive past Gresty Bridge Road, I was keen to replicate something similar here at Pennyhill. So the one thing I just want to point out with regards to these sidings on the left hand side of the depot here, so they run quite long and quite close to the main line. Now they will not stay at this length. At some point I will trim them down. The reason I've left them like that for now is, as I mentioned, I'm looking to get a single road maintenance shed here. So I just want to ensure that whatever goes in here, even if I have to scratch build it, just want to gauge the length, and then I can be absolutely sure where I need to position the buffers and then where the track will end. And obviously at the same time, I'll probably look to to trim these two sidings down as well, to bring them a safe distance away from the main lines. But of course this whole depot area will be fenced off. We have surrounding security fence going right around the depot alongside the main line. So another thing I was starting to work on last month was my switch panel for manual operation of my point motors. This one in particular for Pennyhill Junction. Obviously I have separate switch panels for each end of the layout. So this covers off the north section. So obviously I have 3 further switch panels for both the east, west and south end of the layout. So since the last update, I now have the actual switch panel itself complete. I have the track plan down. This is printed on card. The actual track plan itself I designed simply using Excel. And for those of you who follow or subscribe to Barnabas Junction, you'll see that Barnabas has also recently constructed a control panel, and you'll notice that the track plans look very similar. As I know, Barnabas has shared the fact that I shared with Jason at Barnabas my Excel template, and he's certainly put that to good use. I'll put a link now in the top right hand side of the screen, so you can see the excellent work that Jason at Barnabas has done to construct his switch panel. So Jason is a little bit more advanced in terms of the construction of his switch panel and the installation of point motors, but I am making progress here at Pennyhill. You'll see I now have the toggle switches in place. So these are the Gauge Master GM510 toggle switches, and if I just turn the panel over, you'll see the bottom of the switches. Of course, as yet they're not wired in, but that will certainly be my task, or one of my tasks, to complete in March. So I still, at this point in time, only have the one point motor installed, which is actually for this point here. So once I have the panel in place, the first thing I'll do is obviously wire up that point motor to this switch, and then continue working through the station. So hopefully the next month or two I'll have a fully operational station with manual point motors, all being controlled from this panel. So also in last month's update, a lot of the focus was on the east end of the layout, particularly the backscene. So I'm pleased to say that the majority of the blemishes in the backscene have now sort of settled down. There is still a few minor lumps and bumps, but it is looking much better. Apologies for the glare there. But I've continued to focus on this end of the layout now. As you can see, I've made good use of the burnt umber, and decided to continue putting a base coat on my baseboard. But I thought I'd give myself a bit more practice with the ballasting, and I've made a start on this northeast corner of the layout on these curves, and I'm pleased with how they've come out. And this end of the layout will actually be literally from this point coming down and right across, possibly over here. This whole section will actually be undercover, underneath the upper level eventually. So you probably ask yourself, why on earth is he wasted ballast on this section of the layout? Again, as I just mentioned, it's always good to get a bit more practice, but also when I have tunnel portals at either end, and I've perhaps have a camera looking into the tunnel, you'll see the ballast continuing right round into the tunnel, to try and hopefully make it look as realistic as possible. You also see at the back there, just being held up by my ballast shaker, I'm now also making a start on the side backscenes. Obviously, because of the angle of the roof, these boards are much shorter, and because there'll be an elevated section, I'm just going to go with a sky backscene on this section here, and try and blend in the corner between the sky and the hills and dales, and see with a lot of scenic cover and trees, etc. So it has a nice transition from the sky into the hills. Okay, so as we move west from the northeast corner of the layout, heading into Pennyhill Junction station, you'll see that we finally have some platforms in place. Currently it's only bare 18mm MDF. See, it needs to be sanded down in some areas and levelled, but I have now cut them to the lengths that I want them, and it's nice to see some sort of resemblance of a railway station. And so as I drop back, see this large area here is going to be the main station building, and as you come out of the station building, see your approach platform 1. Over here you'll have footbridge going over to platforms 2 and 3, and the footbridge will continue then over to platforms 4 and 5. So platform 5 will take a 6-car HST. So initially I hoped I'd get either a full sort of 7 or 8 car formation HST, but it will only take the 6. But I'm happy with that. So it still looks good. Still nice long raker coaches. So behind the station, you'll probably notice that obviously the back scene continues. It's not fixed in place at the moment, so it's just propped up. And what it has done is give me the opportunity to see how the elevated section will look. So I've got a section of elevated baseboard in place. So just held up by some timber studs at the height that I'm hoping to have the section raised to, which is about 100 millimeters, I think roughly 100 millimeters to the surface of the baseboard. The reason I've done this is I was very interested to see just how much clearance I had, particularly at the back, on that furthest express line, between the top of any trains running and obviously the roof. There's plenty of clearance there, so there won't be any running issues at all. So as I said, very productive month. Pleased that I've made a lot more progress over in this area. We're starting to see the station finally come to life. And over the coming weeks we'll see the backscene boards continue to progress right around the layout. Actually have the application of the backscenes, and then be in position to fix down the elevated section and then continue with the track work. So for those that are interested in knowing how I plan to secure particularly these side backscene boards in place, I'll just sort of run through my plans with you right now. So if I move over to this end, you'll see this board here, or this roof beam, I say, is at about a sort of 35 to 40 degree angle from the baseboard. And of course, I want the back scene to be at 90 degrees. So what I've done, as you'll see here, I've used bits of timber, which I've cut at the correct angle to ensure this backscene board sits at 90 degrees. And I have another one right there. And the plan is, what I'll do is, once I have applied the backscene to these boards, I'm going to apply some Velcro onto each of these bits of timber, which obviously run right down the length of the layout, and then I'll simply secure them in place using Velcro. The reason I'm using Velcro is obviously it means I can take the boards away and apply the backscene away from the layout. But also, if at any point I decide to make any changes, change the backscene, or for whatever reason I need to remove that backboard, I can just pull it away from the Velcro. But it should still be strong enough, I say, to remain secure in place. So that's it in terms of a layout update for February. So I'm now going to take a look at some of my recent purchases. I think one of my most recent updates, I showed you these 10 Commandments cable trunking packs. So this month, in addition to that, I've now purchased some Pico TWS grids. That's SL-46. And also some of the scale point motors, or dummy point motors, SL-47. I've also bought, so a little bit overkill, but this is 100 meters. I mean, they come in 100 meter rolls for just over £5 from Rapid Electronics, and this is 1.2 millimeter diameter orange wire. So I think you can guess the theme here, very much around line side accessories. So if I move across back over to the northeast corner of the layout, you'll see that I have one of the dummy point motors, say temporarily in place. So it's not fixed. It needs to be weathered, but I say that's what they should all look like when they're in place. And also I have a small piece of the orange wire in place, just to ensure that it is of the right scale. And yeah, I'm happy with that. I think it looks good and pretty much to scale. So I'm building up my line side accessories, so I can start over the coming weeks placing them down on the layout, and then I can continue, now that I'm going to be putting the platforms down as well, I continue this ballasting right through the station over to the northwest corner of the layout. And what I've also purchased this month is this Hornby Mark II-D Intercity BR Blue Grey coach. Just one coach at the moment, but I'm going to look to get a few more. So particularly with my DRS locos, the 68s and the 37s, I'll be looking to introduce some rail tours out of Pennyhill Junction. So, and that particular coach will fit the bill, I think, very nicely. But the biggest purchase of this month, as I think many of you who follow me on social media or subscribe to me on YouTube will already be well aware, and also my most recent Meet the Fleet video, that I'm now the proud owner of the Hornby GWR Class 800 5-car train pack. So that's really all I have to update you on for this month. Again, apologies for the late publishing of this video. So we're almost into March now, so it's a very late February update. But hopefully you can see that it's been worth the wait. You know, it's been a productive month. You know, lots of progress made over the last sort of 4 to 5 weeks, and yeah, I'm confident that will continue into March. With spring on the way, say as the conditions are more favourable here up in the loft, and also working outside, sort of cutting wood, etc. But the focus will remain still very much on this side of the layout, sort of the northeast corner and the north sort of station area. You know, I'll look to put some more work into the platforms, you know, get them primed, start applying the Pico concrete platform edges, as well as get a tarmac surface on top of the platforms, and then again continue with the Backscene boards and have the application of the ID Backscene's Sky Scene in place. And again, I think you'll see, hopefully by the next update in March, again this area really starting to come to life and actually starting to look like not just a layout, but obviously a railway station. So thanks again for watching, and I'll leave you with a few running shots of some movement in and out of both the new TMD, Collingwood Bridge Depot, and also locos passing in and out of Pennyhill Junction Station. So until next time, bye for now.